Fine. It's great because they're still keeping their land-based culture. They're just using some modern tools. That's cool. So they up there, and I sat down with one gentleman in the Warani in the Amazon jungle, an older guy, and he's just encapsulated. This is an older guy who grew up Stone Age in the jungle, still hunting monkeys, and said to me, "Well, you know, do you live like your grandfather?" And I go, "No." "Then why do you want us to?" Yeah, good point. You know, it's like people in them. They want to progress too, but if they can progress and keep their culture, which is spiritual beliefs, language, and land-based skills, then you have something very magical. And the Inuit up in northern Canada kind of have that. The Huron, Papua New Guinea, kind of have that going on. I was really happy to see that. But the Sea Gypsies, or even perhaps the Ventuai, there's a steamroller coming around the corner on them, and they're not going to get it. So, you know. Let's see here. I'll go this side over here. Yes, please. Green shirt, wave in the bottom. Yell it out. The hardest place I had to survive in is not a geographical location. It's not about geography for me. It's about temperature. In the end, you can put me anywhere at 75 degrees, I'll make it work. You make it minus 40, and I don't care where it is, it's going to hurt. The idea is not geography so much as temperature because, you know, if it's hot, Kalahari Desert, you can at least hide under a sand dune. Escape the heat, sit out the heat of the day, do your work in the dawn and the dust. When it's cold, you can't stop moving. You got to keep going. And your survival is extremely proactive. There's no passivity to that survival. And that's hard. If you don't have food and stuff, it just gets harder every waking moment. So for me, it's not so much about location, it's about how cold is it. And that's what, and like when I did the Norway show coming up, I was like, okay, I'm going to do these two big specials. Oh, I guess I should get do a winter one. And so I went into Norway in the snow. And wet, freezing rain snow, probably the worst. Yes, sir.
Do you think that your survival experience influences your music? And if so, how?
Thank you for that question. Do I think my survival experiences, and I'll say beyond survival experiences as well, influence my music, and if so, how? Massively now. You know, as a writer, I write on all sorts of subject matters and you know, love, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, now it's what I've seen and what I've gone through. Now, a lot of my musical performances, and I'm working on this sort of big performance thing right now with video and film and multimedia and question and answer and rock and roll. I do speak now to the environment, to environmental issues, to things that, for me, it comes down to this. It comes down to connectedness with the earth, just feeling connected to the planet. And I don't care what your belief system is, it's there in all those belief systems that we should, you know, be good stewards and be connected to the planet. That's become primo importance to me, and it affects my music. So it's been Survivor Man and Beyond Survival that has really brought that back into my life. In a big way, and now when I write my songs, I might write, you know, a love song, but then the next song is very much about that, about environmental respect, about knowing what we've got, about not, you know, as Joni said, you know, you pay paradise and put up a parking lot, you don't know what you've got and what's got. That's an important song, you know, and we know we're old enough and smart enough, mature enough as a nation now to know that we know what we've got. Let's not pave it all. So it affects me heavily now. I can't escape it now. It's very much a part of me is connecting all of you to the planet. I have a program up in Canada with Robert Bacon, who's a phenomenal wildlife artist, called the Get to Know program. We just simply get kids back on the bush again, get kids back on the grass again, let them take their shoes off and pick up a worm. You know, that's where, you know, how do I do with my kids? I said, do you have a backyard? Yes, then let your child go out, toddler, go out in the backyard, go with them. Let them take their shoes off, let them dig their hands into the earth and shove it in their mouth. Right? Because that's what we all did, and we're doing fine, you know? And it's so vital for kids to get that connection and us to get that connection back. And we can flow, and whatever else your system is, belief in life and living and philosophy, that connectedness, it's where we are. It's, you know, we're all part and parcel here, so it's really important. I'm here to, yes, sir.